All right, so Riley
Okay,
smash him in
we're
your
live.
lineup.
So,
Oh, word.
wait,
Penis,
Kick
penis,
us
penis.
off, moods.
C. Denny was telling me about Sebastian Aho. We have to call him Smashin' Aho.
Oh, smash him in.
Smashing.
Yeah, the Smash Man. Smashin' Aho. So just keep that in mind next time we talk about.
Put it in his hole.
Yep, that's what I said.
Smash his aho.
Yeah. Okay, I will bring us in. Three, two, one. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Morning Ski Podcast. I am Matt Moody, joined by DJ Mitchell and Doug Levy to cover the Wednesday 5-game slate. DJ, you weren't with us yesterday, so how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I pretty much Saturday I did some alcohol consumption, and Sunday morning I got awoken at 8:30, still just not able to function, and I packed in about 5 seconds to go home, and got back in the car and fell asleep. And I woke up and I'm like, I left my mic and my headphones and a lot of other things I needed. So, yeah, not my best move, but I'm back. And I'm back from my midterm college break, which is why I didn't leave the homeless people hungry. Don't worry, guys. Even though that was what was you guys said on the podcast.
The slander.
I did just be like, oh yeah, sorry guys, no food for you because I want to go home. Like, don't worry, they got fed.
Luckily, DJ will not be going.
Doug?
All of them that listened to the pod wrote in and told us about it. They were not happy.
Yeah.
People were angry.
I mean, I feel like nothing has changed since yesterday. I'm in college, unlike DJ, who just gets to go home for Mondays and Tuesdays or something now. So I'm doing the exact same thing exact same thing as yesterday, except with more urgency now because we're nearing the end of the week and I haven't done anything yet. Matt, how are you doing?
Yeah. I mean, I think same old as yesterday. You survive in advance, day to day. That's the life of a working man over here.
Oh,
So,
what's that like?
Blame.
oh man, it's like
You think you're better than me?
in back-to-back days, putting in 10 hours at the office because that's what we do.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the one thing that brings us joy.
Yeah.
Losing money.
So, yep.
I've been hot. You guys have been cold. I've been hot.
You've played like one lineup in the last week, DJ.
The thing is like I've been making lineups that have been smashing though, and I have not been doing a high volume, and I'm just sticking to what I'm doing right now. I'm not gonna change it up.
That is true. Doug and I did talk about our weekends. I think you must have heard that I almost took down a GPP Thursday. You were right above me in that GPP. So, have you had any other close calls since that Thursday night slate?
Yeah, I did the Monday afternoon slate, the one that was the Sabres game, which was exactly what I was at the game, okay. And before the game, I'm like checking, and I'm kind of looking. I'm like, New Jersey actually looks like they might be kind of fun to watch. Like they're a little bit up tempo in their first match. I'm like, I'll just kind of ride that first line. And I went Bratt, Hall, someone else that's not coming to mind, and then the only downfall was I had Eichel in that lineup, but I ended up just right up near the top, and I fell off towards the end. But I pulled 35. I think I finished in 15th. But there was a chance late for me winning a couple hundred on that.
Nice.
That's a veteran play right there. Stacking against the team you're going to hope that they win, because then you're not disappointed either way.
I finished in 14th. No, it wasn't even. I literally was like, I looked at someone posted like a graphic of teams that have been fun through a couple games, which I know, again, small sample size, you don't really know. But, yeah, no, the Devils look fun, and they actually played a really fun game. If Grubauer would have got the win, I would have probably – let me look. If Grubauer would have got the win, I probably would have finished more up towards, like, the top 5. But, of course, Tampa Bay had to ruin my dreams. And not if Kucherov just had Kucherov, I guess, really.
Yeah, you should have expected.
Kucherov is quite Kucherov, and
Yeah, I couldn't jam him in. I just couldn't fit him in. But
his
if I didn't play
price is
Eichel,
just silly, just
yeah, that was
silly
the.
that
Oh,
price.
started. All right, we got to move on. We got to move on to tonight. We got 5 games late. Anything else before we get into it?
I mean, I think right off the top, I'll just cover a couple of news and notes of that kind of impact the slate as a whole. If you guys think of any, you can jump right in. But in Boston, Patrice Bergeron's confirmed out through the end of this week, so he's definitely out for Wednesday night's game in Colorado in a rematch of what transpired on Monday. Very embarrassing fashion for Boston. Also, Torrey Krug is back in the lineup for Boston, in case you missed that Monday afternoon news. So Charlie McAvoy is no longer on the first power play. Those are the 2 main things. Ryan Getzlaf is back for the Ducks. I'm sure you saw that the other night. And yeah, I think that's just about everything all that important. Keep an eye on Jaromir Jagr. This might be the place where he comes back for his first game, but I believe it's unconfirmed. But as soon as he does, I'm guessing at his price, he'll be a fantastic play because they'll put him on the power play and stuff.
And who's playing line 1 for Boston now?
Oh, boy.
Uh-oh.
Well, in case you were looking for a high-end center to jam in your lineups, Riley Nash went from 3.2 to 4.7. 4.7 for Riley Nash. No thank you.
Guaranteed hat trick.
Yep. Whoever makes that
Yeah.
their guaranteed goal at the end of the pod is going to be a winner.
Yo,
That's
Matt, we
for sure.
didn't.
Yeah,
do
I mean he's
guaranteed goals.
it's more guaranteed hat trick is what I was thinking.
Yeah.
We gotta
Let's
start-
see.
we gotta
My
go on that.
guaranteed goals would have been Tyler Sagan scored, so definitely him, and Sonny Milano
Yep.
probably
Oh.
scored too. So,
See, I didn't believe you at first, but once you said Sonny Milano, I knew. That's how I knew. You couldn't have made that up.
no, of course not.
Yeah.
Did anyone take Andrew McDonald yesterday? Because I was gonna have Andrew McDonald as my guaranteed goal. Is that what Matt just said? Because I totally missed it.
No. I said Sonny Milano.
Okay, yeah, I had Andrew McDonald and
Sharp.
yeah,
Hey.
no, I just had him.
Just him. For both.
Just
Picked
him.
him twice.
For both. I just had double Andrew McDonald because, he's just such a great player and DFS play every night that I'm like, yeah, you don't want to mess that one up. Just got to jam him in there.
Oh yeah. Okay, so
With that,
I guess before we dive into the full allotment of centers here, we have New Jersey at Toronto, Pittsburgh at Washington in what should be a fun one. No love lost there. Boston at Colorado, the Islanders at Anaheim, and Calgary at LA. So, let's dive into center. We're looking at Austin Matthews being priced up at 8.3. DJ, how do you feel about that? Matthews more expensive than both Crosby and Malkin.
how do I feel about it? I mean, it just feels kind of dirty, but then again, he's been so good to start the year that I think people will still jump on that price. I don't think it's safe in cash. I think there's a much better option that I'll save for Doug. But he's been very, very, very good. I mean, granted, last game, if he didn't get that OT goal, it would have been somewhat not, I wouldn't say super disappointing, but not a great showing. But that kind of is what jumped his price, that overtime goal. He does have slate breaking ability, but I think that you could spend down to that better option. Doug, I'll send it to you if you want to talk about that.
Yeah. Oh, wait. We're back. Feels like we never left. John Tavares, 6.7. Hasn't scored 5-on-5 yet this year. But I think that doesn't mean anything. He has 11 Corsi attempts this season already. And, he has 1 goal. Sorry. But yeah, no, I think he's going to be a great play. I don't think Anaheim will give him too much trouble. I think that people are going to be so focused on Matthews that he's going to go pretty unnoticed. His ownership will be down. Lowest owned among the top 4 most expensive centers that I have on here, according to the sim. And, of course, Mr. Consistency himself. The new sim might as well be the old sim because it likes him the most in terms of potential floor play. So I raise him right.
Yeah. I do
Matt?
want to point out that while we are podcasting, we can now look at the game logs for each player on DraftKings, which is immensely helpful just because we won't be
Yeah.
just like stumbling over stuff, saying what they did in the last game. So yeah, I just thought of that while I was looking at some guys. So this should be a bit more of a we'll try not to game log chase, but Anyways, moving on. Tavares easily the top cash play in my opinion. There's no one really all that close. I'm not interested in spending all that money on Matthews when you're not guaranteed that he even sees 50% of his team's power play time. He's not likely to see 18 to 19 minutes. Like, that's probably his ceiling just because Toronto's such a deep team. They can throw three lines out there that score goals. So, yeah, that's, Tavares is the play. A little bit cheaper. I really like Jeff Carter against Calgary. But I don't think that's exactly where I'll land. So, anyone else in the upper tier that you were thinking of? I'll go to DJ since Doug kind of took the main guy in Tavares.
Yeah, no, I think there's stackable options here, but as far as cash, those are the main two. I think there's obviously you can't go against stacking some guys on Toronto tomorrow. So I think in a GPP format, Matthews is in play. Maybe his ownership does get a bit diminished by his price tag, but I just don't think he's cash viable. Other than that, yeah, I mean Kuznetsov and Ovechkin have been so hot to start the year that again their ownership could be up, but they've been so good that it might be worthwhile to give it a consideration. But nothing much for cash up here until I get down to 5.4.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Kuznetsov has 8 points in 3 games, and he only has 2 shots on goal. So that's pretty fun.
That's something.
Throw that out there. He also has 6 primary assists, which, that definitely is something. But yeah, he doesn't shoot, and if you play Kuznetsov, you have to play Ovechkin with him. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. So not necessarily a great category, like DJ said. So
yeah. Another
Doug,
thing that I mentioned about Tavares. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Tavares' price has gone down consistently. Every game, it's gone down. Every slate, it's been going down, and seemingly doesn't make sense. He's been performing well, so you're getting him at like a low price tomorrow. It just none of this makes sense. It might just be like Anaheim. People have this like thought that they're still really good defensively, even without like all of their defensemen. I don't know what's going on there. Like, why has he gone down by 400 to start the year? All right, we can move on now. I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, that's definitely a price to take advantage of. So, Doug.
Yeah, but I was hinting at Nazem Kadri. Oh, Doug.
Okay. Well,
I'll send it to you as well.
Well, if you want to talk about Kadri, I thought I would go a little bit lower. So, if you have anything good to say about Kadri,
no, I was just gonna say like I feel like no, I was just kind of like I hinted at Nazem Kadri, and I feel like if people aren't looking at the slate, and I'm like, yeah, the next guy on my list is a guy at 5.4, and then I don't say his name, I'm gonna be like, well, thanks for the input. Yeah, Nazem Kadri though, I think against the Devils, I think he's cash viable, but he only had about 15 and a half minutes last game against Chicago. His price has gone up a bit every game. Now he's at 5.4, but he really is like at that price, like in that range, pretty. It's just such a good value, I think, that you have to consider it.
Yeah, I can't bring myself to play a guy who through 3 games is averaging 15 minutes. First game was only 13, 16 against the Rangers, and then 15 again in a overtime game last game. So, I'm pretty out on that, but
yeah,
I think that's.
And I feel like you almost have to be out.
Yeah, a lot of people are going to play him because a lot of the, I guess not, bigger names, but like a lot of the sharper players that you'll see in like the cash market, they always play Kadri. So I think given what we know that like, yes, he has that 50% of the power play time on a pretty high powered team, like that's fine and all, but when you're only playing 15 minutes, there's other guys who are going to play 4 or 5 more minutes. And I'm more than willing to take my chances that, their extra ability to accrue shots and blocks can lead to a point to essentially negate the difference between the two. So if in this range, I think Nathan McKinnon is my favorite play. He's just uber talented. Not necessarily the safest option, I think, but against a Bergeron-less Boston team, that's totally fine. So if you're going to go to the cheap centers, any cheap centers on either of your minds for tomorrow night?
I think I like. You mentioned Backlund before the show, but I liked him as well. He's had a goal in both of his last 2 games. He's only going to be 4.3 after being 5K last game. So I think that I don't really know why his salary went down so much, but I like him. I'm also have my eye a little bit lower on Barzal. He's 3.6, played about as many minutes, or he's shooting the puck about as much as Backlund is what I meant to say. He's playing second line, but he's getting time on the first power play. He had 5 minutes of power play time last game, or on average. So those are kind of my 2 guys. I think at 3.6, I think that's like absolutely a steal for him. I don't know. I wouldn't play him with Tavares per se. Just
word of warning. Following along the Islanders game at work yesterday or on Monday, I saw that Barzal got replaced by Josh Bailey for a shift, and it seemed like what they were saying was like, wow, this power play looks so much better. So obviously Josh Bailey lost his spot with Eberle coming in, so they might just kind of be going back to that to get some of the, I guess, the connection rekindled. What they need to do to improve their power play is just dress Ryan Pulak, but that's a topic for another day.
Alas. But yeah, those are kind of the 2 guys I'm looking at. One a little cheaper than the other.
Yeah, I think that pretty much. Yeah, no, I think those are like the main 2. I mean, I'm not going to trick myself into playing Riley Nash. I know Colorado isn't good, but I can't do it to myself. Other than that, really none of these names speak to me too much. And there's guys that are – I don't even know if there's anyone that's really super in play down here as far as like a floor that's safe enough to play in cash.
Yeah, McKegg? Centers.
Greg McKegg, my new favorite player.
Yeah,
that guy parties.
Did you not? Yeah, that guy has done a standard too in his days.
Your Morning Skate podcast official center plays for tomorrow in cash are just jamming Tavares and Backlund and move on.
Yes.
Move on to the wing.
Yeah, to the wing. It's a bit more interesting here. We have Ovechkin in the ultimate revenge game. I mean, he's been playing revenge games against Pittsburgh for as long as he's been in the league. So, it's not necessarily that great a narrative, but...
What did I say before? Perpetual disappointment?
Yep. Perpetually disappointment.
Yeah, I mean, Ovechkin's on pace for about 100 goals this year, so I think you just ride him every night and take this sample size and run with it.
Boy, you are vastly underestimating Ovechkin this year. He's on pace for, I think, 200 goals.
Oh, all right. I didn't do any math. I just thought whatever. No, he's on pace for way over that, like 160 at least. More than that even.
What is 27
now that I think about
times 7?
It's just about I'm gonna guess
164.
Yeah.
Right? Or did I do the math wrong?
20. We're not going to do this here. But 27 really times 7
doesn't matter.
189. Not even close.
It's like,
you know my favorite thing? Wait. My favorite thing about tomorrow's game on NBC Sports is when Pierre brings up, like in Pee Wee hockey, when Ovechkin also started the year 3 games in with 7 goals. Back in Russia, back in Soviet times when he had his...
And he did score 180.
It was the first year of checking, and Ovechkin went out there and beat down everyone else and put the puck in the net 7 times in 3 games. That's going to be the story, for sure.
That was a great
back
year.
Here.
It was not bad.
It wasn't good?
No, it was fine.
I feel like he always talks like... All right, never mind. We'll move on. Okay, so any of these Boston guys against Colorado, calling your name, Matt, Doug, either of the
their
Boston guys against
lines,
Colorado.
their lines are just such a disaster. Like with no Bergeron, they have no idea what they're doing. Um, Pasternak I think is in play, but I'm not chomping at the bit to jam him in. That's for sure. So, I think of the two, I think Pasternak's just the guy you're going to want to look for. Marchand definitely seems to be like more reliant on Bergeron, just because they've played together for so long. And he carried that line by himself last year with Krejci and whoever else was on that second line with him. So, Backes, obviously. Actually, well, it doesn't matter. But anyways, Marchand and Bergeron are kind of like the long-standing duo. No Bergeron means no Marchand for me.
Yeah, I'm not as hesitant. I mean, I don't love them, but I like the stack of Marchand and Pasternak. I mean, Vegas really likes the game. I think people will be off it just because of the horrible, unspeakable things that happened to them against Colorado last game. But I mean, I was looking at the Corsi for and expected goals for percentages, and I mean, Pasternak and Marchand so far this year have been dominating play, so over 60% in both. I mean, I don't think that that line at least is playing terribly. I think the ownership will be super low, so I think it's a GPP option to stack that line. I don't think that they're guaranteed goose eggs or anything.
Okay. That's definitely viable, but kind of, I don't know, I guess a little bit surprising to me. Um, in this range, I kind of like Phil Kessel. I don't really, I don't normally play Phil Kessel just because it's kind of the same situation with Toronto. Like, I guess it's not quite the same because they have a number one power play unit, but um, Kessel is 6.3, and I mean that's just way too cheap for a guy who shoots as much as he does. Like he has one of the better shots in the entire NHL, and he's certainly not afraid to use it. So playing on that number one power play unit, as he obviously will, I think that's a really nice exposure to this matchup without paying through the nose for someone like Crosby or Malkin. Um, I want to point out the stack of Malkin and Kessel is very much in play, as the Malkin Kessel Hagelin line looks to still be going strong from last year, and that line is just really fun to watch. So, highly recommend.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's kind of upper price, but I think there's some value plays on here that can afford it. Another stack I was going to mention is to put Eberle with Tavares. I don't think there's any splitting those two guys up, and they both got Eberle at 20 minutes, Tavares 23. All pretty, yeah, all of it look correlated. So I think those two could definitely combine for some points tomorrow against Anaheim. So I definitely like that stack a lot. As far as I really like the 6-3 range in general, like Taylor Hall, Oshie, etc. Like it's just nice range, but I think Phil Kessel probably again that I think he comes out as the top play for cash.
Fair enough. One guy I like going down a little bit on the other side of that Calgary Anaheim matchup. I like Cogliano first line. He's only 4.9, playing 34% of their 5-on-5 minutes, and that's a ton of ice time for 4.9. He's been shooting the puck a decent amount so far this year. Nothing to write home about, but I think that I think that he's got a decent matchup, and he's going to get good power play time. How do you feel about Cogliano, Matt?
Well, has he been playing the power play? I don't think that's a thing.
Oh,
if
no?
he has been, I mean, all of last year. Yeah, he's not really a power play guy for them. But
Wow.
like,
Filling you full of lies.
So he may be the one player in the NHL who I don't mind playing in a stack. I guess this is mostly Kessler based because him and Kessler tended to kill penalties together and play at 5-on-5 together. But he is so fast, and he's just a really good penalty killer and a really good player overall. And so he's always kind of in this cheap enough range that he's not going to break the bank if he doesn't score, and he certainly has breakaway sort of upside. But yeah, I think that's really GPP only. And as of right now, I don't really know what they're going to do with their lines, just because yesterday was Getzlaff's first game back, and they really tried to spread things around to see, who did what basically. So I wouldn't be surprised to see those lines switch up again from last game into something different. So just keep an eye on those. But let's see.
Yeah.
DJ, did you give your mid-tier guy?
No, I really haven't. Yeah, one thing I think though of note is that the last game, Crosby played with Rust and Gensel and not Shiri. So Shiri's price is dropping, and if he was with Crosby, I think he'd be in play. But again, like I don't think that's going to happen. So maybe Brian Rust is up to 5K, but he is with Crosby, and power play too, which isn't great, but it is there. So I don't know how in play he is. He really doesn't have a floor at all. Like he could have a no shots on goal game, but I think in GPP, like he's someone that you could put with Crosby and feel like not too disgusted. Maybe you would. I mean, you go Gensel probably. Gensel's probably what?
Right.
I didn't even see Gensel.
You mentioned Gensel.
700 more. You'd probably go with Gensel. Yeah, you got to get Gensel in there. He's on power play 1. I think you got to go with him. But
power play 1 and only 300 more than Sherry. So I'm definitely
I know Hornqvist has been skating, but he's not going to be back, right?
I don't think so.
I say keep an eye out, but I don't think so. Patrick Hornqvist, he skated non-practice jersey, he skated with a normal practice jersey on Monday.
No jersey.
No, I don't want to practice.
He skated.
He was running around on the ice
naked on Monday, and that's normally a good sign that they'll be back soon in Pittsburgh. He's back.
He's feeling frisky.
He had the normal practice jersey, not the non-contact, which is what I was going to say, and I realized how bad it sounded, so I messed up, all right? The moral of my story is keep an eye out for Hornqvist.
Yeah, you did.
Move on. Let it go. There's nothing we can do about it now.
All right. Is there anyone else in this range, though, after all of that?
I don't mind Toffoli.
I mean, there's a lot of guys that are playing hockey in this range.
That is true.
Tyler Toffoli?
Yeah, I think Toffoli's okay. Like, I don't love it, but we've talked about. I think we've talked about more than enough guys in this range, kind of.
Mikko Rantanen.
Yeah, he has 12 shots on goal over the past 2 games. Yeah, I think you could go Carter Toffoli though, but we can move down the line now. And there's just a lot of decent plays here. I feel like I don't think we mentioned one that's an absolute slam dunk must play. I think in cash Toffoli could be, but I don't know if he's like it's absolute lock. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Like Toffoli's cash viable. Gensel's cash viable, but neither of them are slam dunks.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
You make good points.
All right.
Doug,
Doug had someone I feel like coming out.
Yeah, no, I was just mentioning Rantanen as another guy in that range. He had a big game against Boston on Monday, so somebody to keep an eye on. He plays a ton of minutes. I mean, not my favorite play, but definitely GPP viable. He's playing 18 minutes a night. Yeah, he had 5 shots on Monday too, so gotta love it.
Yeah, but he's no line 4 Nail Yakubov with line 4 Matt Duchene. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on.
So, are you guys buying into this Jesper Bratt dude from Sweden coming over playing on the first line with Taylor Hall?
I'd literally never heard of him.
So I was at the game. Okay, so I saw before the game that he was going to be on the line on line 1, so I jammed him in. Versus the Sabres, he had 2 shots on goal. They both went in. Both of them were setups by Taylor Hall. One of them was a setup by Taylor Hall. The other one was a 2-on-1 that the Sabres defenseman, who I want to say is Beaulieu, just completely took the guy shooting and let Jesper pass backdoor, tap one home. I mean, both goals were not really as much him as they were the other guy, but he did have a 3-point night, and he should probably stay on line 1. 16.5 minutes. I think it's like an option, but I'm not riding that hot streak now that his price jumped. I don't know. It looked like it was the other guys making him look as good as he was.
I mean,
if you want to watch the replays, it
Who
confirms.
cares how you get it done if you're getting it done?
I mean, is Taylor Hall going to get worse overnight? I mean, that's really the question.
Yeah, if Taylor Hall's still going to make him look good tomorrow, I'll still play him tomorrow.
So they're going against
I
Toronto.
just think his ownership's going to jump. His ownership's really going to jump.
Who cares?
There are two people.
3-4.
Yeah, there are two people on New Jersey that I think are going to be insanely popular tomorrow. So someone, I think I'm just going to go with that. That's how you say it. I think he's one that I'm really interested in playing. I probably just will end up playing him. I'll see how much I need the salary, but if he allows me to play guys like Ovechkin and Kessel and Tavares and all those guys and be happy, I'll just do it. But just to touch on him now, Will Butcher also has come out of the gates really hot. No thank you on that. I know he's playing on that power play unit with Taylor Hall, but outside of that, he is playing 13 minutes and he has no shots on goal and he has one block shot in those 2 games. He's not playing much. And he's the same price as Brandon Montour. So, where do my allegiances lie, really, if I play him over Brandon freaking Montour, who's the GOAT? So, just wanted to throw that one out.
There was some slanderous talk about Brandon Montour in the group meet the other day. Somebody saying that Brandon Montour wasn't living up to expectation. Matt, are you going to take that laying down?
I'm just going to say watch the games and watch him rack up fantasy points.
It's true.
All right, one point I'm going to also make about Bratt really quick is that Drew Stafford could be back tomorrow, and I don't know where he'll slot in. So I would just keep an eye on if Bratt is on the first line, and I guess they kind of run 2 power plays pretty evenly, but I'm one of those power plays. He's definitely in play. But if Drew Stafford comes back and takes his top line role, then I don't know. Okay.
Well, indeed.
Okay, so anyone else in the wing or back to defense? Now that we
how do you
started
guys feel about Alexander Kerfoot?
Not good.
He only played 10 minutes last game, but he played 15 and 13 the 2 games before that. He's only 3-4. And then on daily faceoff, he's listed with Duchesne and Yakupov playing power play 2. I mean,
yeah,
I don't know anything
that
about
line
him.
got
Position.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't like him.
Yeah, I'm not. I think Brad's really the only super cheap guy I'm all that interested in. And if I was going to take a shot on someone like that, let's see. Yeah, Josh Hosang is only 3.5. I think someone like him who's not going to play a lot of minutes, but who we saw last year is a legitimate game-changing player. I'd rather take someone who we know is really really talented, I should say. I don't really know much about Kerfoot or anything, so I will pass on Kerfoot in favor of someone like Hosang at the same price. So yeah, over at defense, rather than talk about all these guys, Doug, who's your top defenseman tomorrow?
See, I like Cam Fowler. We talked about it before, but he's 5.9. He's playing a ton. He's still shooting the puck.
Are you using FanDuel pricing on Fantasy Labs? Just wondering.
Oh, did I write 5.9? Hold on.
No, I don't. Because you mentioned Marchessault yesterday too, being center, and he was a center on FanDuel and Fantasy Draft, which I thought was interesting. Maybe you just had it on the wrong, but that was just
It could have been when I write them down on a notepad, and I may have just copied it over wrong when I.
Okay.
Yeah, I have 5.6 on this piece of paper, or on the computer, but on the piece of paper I wrote 5.9. But okay, yeah, 5.6, not 5.9. Yeah, he was playing 40% of the time, first line. I'd still like him. I mean, Matt, you can give your reasons as to why you don't, but I think
I don't. Go ahead.
No, I just think he's the most consistent play across the board. Sim loves him. I mean, my allegiances lie with the Sim, and the Sim loves him in terms of floor. I think he's a guy that I would play in cash, but go ahead.
I mean, he's going to be the first power play guy. He's going to play like 25 minutes. And now with Getzlaff back, that power play should be even better. I was just talking bad about him because I don't think, like, in terms of, like, real-life value, he's all that great. I mean, obviously a guy like Lindholm is, like, just fantastic, but doesn't really have the same DFS relevance. Even, like, like Manson, like, I think Montour's, like, legit going to be, like, an impact player. And Fowler, don't get me wrong, is a very good defenseman, but I don't think he's, like, impact at that sort of level, but he's going to play like it. And in DFS, that's really all that matters. So I think he's an okay play. I think I would prefer Torrey Krug myself. Like I mentioned at the top of the show, he's back from injury. And last year, he was one of the most snake-bitten players in the entire league in terms of, like, shooting luck. But, I mean, Torrey Krug's every bit as good as someone like Letang or, one of those guys in terms of the shot creation on the power play. And I really like him in the spot against Colorado to kind of, I mean, even if he picks up a point for a salary, I think he gets you there. So, DJ, I know we talked about a couple of the guys. Do you have someone different, or do you agree with one of us?
No, I think Krug and Fowler are both really, really good plays. One stat that I found that I thought was just alarming. Let's play a game called What Defenseman for Calgary had 9 more minutes than Dougie Hamilton?
Don't make me sad, DJ. Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me.
Do you want to guess? Or
I know it because it makes me sad every time I look at it. TJ Brody is, like, just demolishing Giordano Hamilton in terms of ice time. When they employ Mark Giordano and Dougie Hamilton on this same hockey team. Like, why do you do this?
He literally sneaks onto the ice, and nobody knows that he's out there. They don't risk chasing him because they'll get
I'm very confused.
He just stays out the whole game.
I mean, I think there's somewhat of a floor on TJ Brody, but at this price, I can't imagine playing him. But I just can't imagine playing any of these Calgary defensemen tomorrow. So I'm kind of taking them out of play. And I think you got to kind of go with Krug. I think Krug's probably the top play as well. That's kind of my thought. But as far as maximizing the minutes, Cam Fowler, yeah. But I was gonna go Krug. Other than that, if you want to know, we've mentioned Tavares Eberle stack. He'd correlate well with Leddy on the power play. Leddy's kind of the top power play guy there. So if you're looking for this 3-man stack there, Leddy is. Why can I not find him? Am I blind?
4.6.
Oh, there he is. 4.6. Okay, yeah, right at the same price as TJ Brody. Other than that, yeah, I think you kind of have to dip your way down on defense, and you probably end up landing on, probably Montour. I can't do it. Will Butcher, I can't do it yet. I know maybe some people might think, like, oh, that first power play unit, but he had 3 assists in his first game. Like, that's great against Colorado, but still without a shot on goal. I can't do it yet. So, I don't know. Defense seems pretty easy to me. It's either you're stacking 3 or in cash you're going Krug and Montour.
Yeah, that's really – we kind of have to give you some other guys to keep an eye on. So one that's just way too cheap for his role is Dmitry Orlov. I mean, he's 3.6. Last game he played 27 minutes and 25 in the – in a blowout, he played 21 minutes and then 26 in the first game of the year. But he and Niskanen are just this team's top pair. Like, that's not even a question anymore. So Orlov's going to continue to play 25 minutes a night. He is incredibly talented. And although he's not on the power play 1, like, he just has awesome upside every time he takes the ice. And I think at this price, I mean, I don't think you should worry too much about his floor. So, I mean, looking at this as an unbiased observer of the game of daily fantasy hockey, I don't really know how I'll choose between Orlov and Montour. I do want to point out that Montour is off of the first power play now that Getzlaff is back. When Getzlaff was out, they ran 2 defensemen on that first unit. Now it's only 1, so Fowler edges him out. But yeah, that's going to be my cheap defenseman decision tomorrow, as I don't think you need to play both of them, especially in a cash game. But Doug, any cheap defenseman that you think the listeners should keep an eye on?
Yeah, Sim really liked Orlov. Number 3 play in terms of frequency, aka floor. But one other guy I'm looking at is Jake Muzzin. He's only 4'2". He's been playing 29 minutes. Or he played 28-2 last game. What?
That's a lot.
Yeah, so I mean so I haven't been including any like recent game stats for any of the players in the sim yet, just because it's such a small sample size. But I have been using time on ice because that doesn't usually change a whole lot, and I'm not worried about the sample size too much. But yeah, the sim picked that out pretty quickly, and I was just looking it up. Yeah, I mean the sim's basically saying 4.2 for a guy who plays that often is a little bit cheap. So that's one other guy that I would take a look at for cash if he's going to get that many minutes. He had an assist last game. He's had 2.5 in both of the games that he's played so far this year. So that's one guy that I'm going to keep an eye on. I don't think I have anyone else. No, I don't have anybody else in the lower tier. So we can keep going.
All right, well, wait, let me just do my favorite new name DFS player. What's his first name? Fantenberg? What's his first name? Oscar, maybe? Oscar Fantenberg. I don't think he's in play, but I have to mention his name. He did play power play too, but he only played 16 total minutes for LA. But I mean, Fantenberg, like that's the funnest name out there right now. We can move on. I guess if you need the absolute 2.6, like pray that he gets a point guy, go for it. But I'm not riding that too high.
Yeah, I guess I will note again, keep an eye on Morning Skate out in the West Coast. If Ryan Pulock draws into the lineup, he is likely going to take over that power play 1 role sooner than later. And for reasons that I've outlined on this pod before, if you really care about why Ryan Pulock is what the Islanders need on the power play, tweet at me on Twitter. Just send me a tweet, be like, hey, what you mean about Ryan Pulock? And I think I have like a book ready for publishing about why Pulock should be on the first power play on the Islanders. But until he plays, I'm not going to talk anymore about him. So let's skip goalie. Let's build a lineup.
Good idea.
Let's
build a lineup first, you said?
Yeah, let's build a lineup, and then we can guarantee our goals. So let me just throw in.
Who's in that?
I don't even want to.
Yaroslav Halak.
Do it. Throw him in.
Dude, he's 6.8. I mean, I know they're not going to be favorited or anything, but the Islanders have looked competent. Like, he could definitely get a win. I don't know. Okay, I think that game goes either way.
Okay, well, we're building a cash lineup, so I don't think that's a great play. Let's just go Jonathan Quick.
Okay, we're doing cash then. No.
Whatever. Like,
who you want?
Let's just go Quick. Like, whatever. I don't care. Just someone who's not way too cheap
totally
that people are. Jonathan Quick.
Ugh. All right. I feel like I heard it, but I was like, no, he did not say that. Okay, whatever. Jamin Tavares, just do it now.
Yes, sir.
I want to go Kessel.
Right, Doug.
So we'll get Kessel.
All right. The thrill. Doug?
Let's get Montour in there. Get our cheap defenseman out of the way.
All right, Montour it is. I'll just do Backlund. I mean, we mentioned it earlier. You kind of got to go with those two in cash, so I'll throw Backlund in.
Okay, we have 5.3 per position.
Yep, for 4 spots.
I want to go.
You know who's 5.4? Yeah.
Nazim.
That's what I was going to say.
I guess you said it earlier.
This lineup is coming out exactly how I expected. All right, Doug.
Wait, did we take Krug and Kadri or just Krug?
No Kadri. Yeah,
Okay.
Kadri's not in this lineup.
Okay. Perfect. Let's try. How about Jakob Vrana?
All right, Verona.
Balls to the wall. Didn't even mention him, and Doug's just spitting the fire.
Hey, I did my
Just
research.
throws the name out there.
Very
Okay,
talented.
so. All right, hold on. I was trying to think if we threw in Brat, could we get Ovechkin, but we cannot. So I guess if you throw in Brat here, you could go like Pasta or something. If you want to take an upper price guy, like if you want to take Gensel or something, you have 5.5 left. That can still get you a. What?
We got to look at our D-man. We got to fill in our utility D-man in principle, and then we can figure out what winger it is. You never want to choose.
Well,
you never want to be choosy, or you never want to have to settle with your D-man. You should be choosy.
I mean, you could do. I was thinking you could do Fowler, and Fowler. Then you're 100 off Gensel. That's really sad.
How about? Yeah, I mean, how about everyone just give you?
Yeah, let's do Muzzin. That's a good idea.
So we're not giving away a lineup. I think my 2v2 would be Pasternak and Orlov. I think Muzzin would actually. No, we'd be 100 short of Muzzin. So I would probably go maybe something like Pasternak and Orlov to finish off those two spots. DJ, do you have a 2v2 that you think you would want to close that lineup with?
Well, give me one more second now because I thought I had it and it was 100 off.
I'll take Gensel and Muzzin. That leaves you. Oh no, that's like 1,000. That's too much.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was.
Yeah.
You could use that to upgrade elsewhere. So.
You're 100 short on Fowler then too. How about Dougie with Gensel? Or can you get up to Pasternak?
Well, let's see. At that price, 4 point, whatever, right around that price, I think. Well, yeah. I mean, Hamilton's minutes are just scary in cash. I think that's kind of the.
How about Niskanen with Pasternak?
I can dig it.
I
would probably just play Orlov instead.
Oh yeah, Orlov. All right, I'll take Orlov and Pasternak then, just for continuity's sake.
Yeah, I changed it up a little bit. I bumped Vrana to Toffoli, and then I went Gensel and Orlov. So I just kind of reallocated my resources. I still had 400 on the table, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah. So that's. I mean, we're not. I don't think we have a very official lineup, but we looking at something like Tavares, Backlund, Kessel, Vrana. The wingers we mentioned, maybe something like Pasternak, and then Montour, Krug, a goalie. Just pick a goalie, pick any goalie, doesn't matter. And a third defenseman, someone like Cam Fowler or Dmitry Orlov or Jake Muzzin. So I think, I mean, I'm gonna assure you that this is probably one of the better cash constructions that you could have. Certainly don't mind jamming in Ovechkin. There's more than enough value there, so keep that one in mind. But yeah, let's guarantee some goals and get out of here.
All right. Easy enough. I haven't thought about it once, but now I shall.
Okay. I guess I should think about it too then.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of guys I want to take.
Well, okay, I want to take Phil Kessel. I think he's a fantastic player.
Phil Kessel.
The GOAT.
Kessel.
All right.
I want Tavares and Rantanen. Ranta God.
All right. Wait, Matt, who was your other guy? I only heard one. Did I miss it?
I didn't say a second one yet.
All right. I'll go Krug and Toffoli.
Also smart. All right, Kessel and your boy. He's scoring. I'm not gonna play him, but see Denny, you can see me in the Slack chat. when he scores because it's happening, and I'm going to be so mad. It's going to be so obvious because New Jersey is terrible. So there you have it.
Wait, who did you say?
Wow.
Jake Gardner.
Yeah, I missed it too, but I think it was Jake Gardner.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you cut out. I thought it was for dramatic effect. I thought you did it because of that. I was like, yes.
All right,
tell
guys.
me.
I'll put $1 million on the line. I'll take anyone's bet. I'm taking. At me on Twitter. Let me know what you think.
Yeah, that's literally exactly what just happened.
Exactly. I know. If I'm wrong, you can kill me. I live at. I will see you at.
That's why you need your Twitter name to still be Mattman1398.
That's right. What a show. So, okay, let's close this out. Be sure to check out our website, morningskatepod.com. Follow us on Twitter at morningskatepod. Bet you could guess that one. And if you don't subscribe to us on iTunes, feel free to do that. Leave us a review. Tweet at us if you want to see it or have any sort of feedback. And yeah, anything else from YouTube before we... Oh, yep.
Yeah, the group me is alive and well. We have a lot of new members. Add us on Twitter, or you can direct message us. I have to apologize because like sometimes when people direct message us, it doesn't go to our DMs. It'll go to requested, and I won't see it at first. So if it takes a day, don't get mad. But also you can tweet at us to remind us, like, hey, like I direct message you guys, and we'll find it.
Yeah, that's a fun place to be. Always a community of people just like you. They love DFS hockey and they love talking about it and sweating. So, yeah, that just about does it for this Wednesday show. So, yeah, from DJ, from Doug, and from myself, have a good sleep, everyone, and we will see ya.